So here we are, day 32, our final and very last Bible Books Challenge. How did you do with our last three pictures? I've certainly had a wonderful time over the weeks as we have been doing this quiz, and I hope you have too. What is your most memorable book? What have you learnt that's new? Is there anything that surprised you? What will you share with others from the Bible Books Challenge? It is certainly my hope and prayer that you found our time together lots and lots of fun, but also transforming as you've dived into all the books of the Bible. You'll notice I've got my celebration shirt on today to celebrate getting to the end of all 66 books of the Bible as we've gone through in the style of Catchphrase and Dingbats, the board game, as we tried to work out the pictures and which books they represent and found out a little bit more about those books. Do you have a favourite maybe? Anyway, let's move on. So to our last three pictures, pictures 25, 26 and 27. First of all, here's picture 25. I mentioned to you yesterday that it shouldn't be totally unfamiliar to you. We have two moths with ties on. So it must be, can you work it out, 2 Timothy or 2 Timothy? Now, he may have grown a little older, as Paul had been by the time he wrote this letter, but him and Timothy continued to be Bible-based leaders who show enduring leadership. And Paul is grateful for Timothy's faithfulness as he plans for the future, describing the type of qualities that are required in church leaders. Finally, after warnings to remain alert, Paul reminds Timothy, in possibly the last letter he ever wrote, to keep the Bible at the centre of all he does and to forgive those who wrong him. So those were his final instructions. So that's to picture 26. What do we have? Gull at Ian's house. We have a gull at Ian's house. Can you work this one out? It's another letter written by Paul. Which book does it sound like? Gull at Ian's house? It is, of course, you've got it, Galatians. The gull is unshackled in the picture, or has lost its chain, and so is able to live a life to the full. This is just what it was like for the Christians in Galatia. They were now free from all the previous rituals they had been bound by, the rituals that tied them up before they turned to Jesus. Now, this letter was probably an early one from Paul, being written before the Jerusalem Council in Acts chapter 15, which confirmed all those rules set by the Jews were no longer necessary. So this letter includes the famous teaching on the fruit of the Spirit, which is available to all believers. So that's picture number 26, Galatians, or Gull at Ian's house. And so to our very last picture and our last book in the New Testament. Not only book 27 from the New Testament, but book 66 in terms of the Old Testament. It's an ark, and the ark has got a big M on it, so it's an ark titled by M. So which book is left from the 27 books in the New Testament? Can you work it out? The picture shows us is to do with M. Ark and the man who is serving an ant. So we got the gospel writer called Mark, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the collective gospels, those 4 books, collectively called the Gospels, the Good News of Jesus. And this one, the writer is Mark, and he wrote his book to help people to see that Jesus is a servant of all. There, the plate with the ant on, serving ant. Yeah, so it's about Jesus is a servant of all. Now, Mark wrote for his fellow Romans, who were a very direct people. They didn't even put corners in their roads, if at all possible, did they? Now, this might explain why this gospel, this good news, is short and to the point, with very few parables and no nativity in it. Now, his favourite word within the book is immediately. His readers would think, let's do it now. He tells us that Jesus came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Phew, we're done. All I can say now is well done. Congratulations. Great job. My final words are to encourage you to continue to get stuck into the Bible. And if you want to make contact with me at any time, please email me. Again, my email address is there at the bottom, mark.tomlinson@cheadle.org.uk. But you've done fantastic, and I hope you have managed to stick through all of those. And I do hope that there's been massive encouragement for you as you gained knowledge and learned more. But remember what I've said all along. It's not just about gaining that information and that knowledge. It's about being transformed by God's living word. So it all only needs me to say now, continue to stay safe. And God bless, and I hope you've enjoyed all that we've done through Bible Books Challenge. Goodbye.